Hey, you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Karleen, your host. Welcome to those of you that are new to the channel. Welcome to those of you that are returning. So happy to see you here. I have a treat for you guys today. It is one of the most beautiful tarot decks that I have ever seen. I'm so happy that it is now in my tarot loving hands. And before I dive into the deck, a little bit of backstory. Some of you guys know that I'm Christian background. And I like the Christian stories and the Christian symbolism. And I'm actually baptized Orthodox Christian. And yes, there is clearly a, a a thing between the religion that I do love and the work that I do. But such is life at this moment. Life is it is full of contrast and controversies, and it is a thing between me and my maker. So I've made peace with that for myself, but I don't think I'm actually moving against the flow of divine guidance. I really don't believe that, but that is not what this video is about, getting into that kind of theological debate, but about this beautiful deck of cards that kind of bridges things for me, kind of like I'm a bridge. This deck is a bridge. And I'm so happy and excited to introduce it to you. It's full of luscious, beautiful, rich, wealthy, colorful pictures that just remind me of my Bible school days. They bring me back in nostalgia to my little children's Bible that I had it as a kid. And just the stories that are connected with each card as well, I find absolutely fascinating, but we're going to go through each one of them. And I feel it's also a deck that pays homage to the power of the story and the story that we tell each other and ourselves about who we are and how powerful those stories can be and what those stories can get us to do. But it also reminds us of the connection of the divine and the Holy Spirit and the power of that Holy Spirit to give us these stories that we can lean on. And I mean, the Bible is one of the most printed books in the world. It has survived years. It's helped so many people. And what individuals have done out of misguidance, I'm not here to debate that right now. And I know some of you find Christianity triggering. I'm sorry for that. I'm really just here to talk about this beautiful deck and how it bridges between spirit and our real lives here in this 3D matrix that we call world. And I think it does an amazing job. Jesus also taught in parables, so also gave credit to the power of the story and that there's so much more information that can be conveyed in pictures rather than in just in words. And not that words aren't important. It's absolutely beautiful if you're a poet or storyteller. But pictures do pack a punch. So let's dive into this tarot, and I'm super excited to introduce it to you. I can't wait to get this video loaded up so you can enjoy it too. Okay, you guys, so let me introduce you to the Biblical Tarot. And the Biblical Tarot is so, like, just even the box that it comes in is so stunningly beautiful. And when I saw the picture of the Virgin Mary on the front of the box, some of you know that I have a really close connection to this energy. And she really means a lot to me. I went to her shrine in her Guadalupe incarnation or version in Mexico City. And I know that this energy is real. Things happen to me around that situation that I can't put into words, nor will I try. I just know that it is absolutely and truly and wonderfully real. And so just seeing this on the front, it was a done deal for me. I knew that this was my deck, you guys. So underneath, you can see biblicaltarot.com. That's where you're going to find these cards. You can go there to check it out. I wish the camera would focus a little bit better, but I've got this chic blur on to make it look pretty. So on the side, it says as well, created with a purpose. And the Bible phrase here is Ephesians 2:10. Maybe I'm going to turn this off so it focuses better. 1 second. There we go. Okay. Ephesians 2:10. There. Created with a purpose. So it's let's look up Ephesians 2:10. I have my Bible on my phone. I've got Bible apps, prayer apps, all kinds of these things on my phone. So I yeah, 1 second. Let's see here. Ephesians 2:10, and I looked it up before, and it says, "For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them." Beautiful. So already they're showing what the intention is behind this deck and what the belief is as well. Okay, so let's dun 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 dun. Oh, what else is on the outside? Oh, on the back it says, "Connect with the divine, discover yourself, transform your life." This is not just a tarot deck, it's a testament to the beauty of faith, a bridge between the physical and the divine. Hear the whispers of prophets and let your soul be touched by the same light that inspired generations. This is the second edition, which I'm super happy about because the first edition was also beautiful, like stunningly, but there is a card in here which I find more beautiful than in the version 1, and so I'm happy that that's the one I got. So their logo, and on the other end, extra guides, spreads, promotions, and more. Okay, let's dive in. Dun, 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 dun. I wish I could have done the total unpacking with you, but I couldn't wait. I just could not wait. So, whether seeking a guidance, wisdom, or a deeper connection to your spiritual roots, your journey begins here. They have a little study guide, but there is a bigger one online. So, there is a bigger PDF you can get online. This Biblical Tarot Study Guide has all the short form basics, how to use these cards, a small layout, and you can see tags, short versions of the meanings of the cards. Okay. So, yeah. Alrighty, that's pretty much it. And a thank you on the back. And this deck is so beautifully done. Now, I was so surprised when I took the cards out. And on the bottom of the box, it says here, "God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God and God in them." 1 of John 4:26. You are loved. And I love this. Oh my gosh. I saw that and my heart just went, boof. I just, and especially the bird, the dove, and here I've been finding feather after feather after feather. Everywhere I go, I find gifts of feathers from the birds, and it just, oh my gosh, it just really, I don't know, it just made me feel so much comfort in my soul just seeing this symbol here. And it feels good to feel just to feel the energy of these cards and just to feel these cards themselves. So I'm going to put the box away, and we can see the back of these cards. They are reversible, black and white, which I find really super stunning, super beautiful. And there we have the dove again and the cross everywhere. This is more of the Orthodox cross, I believe, with the equal arms. And yeah, so dun 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 dun. Now the artwork on these, I keep telling you guys, is stunning. It is so rich, and it reminds me of the pictures that we had in our children's Bibles, you know, like they're so nourishing, like with their colors so vibrant. And whoever their printer is, fantastic job, because the colors are true, they are bright, they are perfect. The quality of the cards are fantastic. They're a normal sized tarot deck, not too big, not too small, and normal size tarot cards. The stock is on the thinner side, but not on the worse side. Like they're still very sturdy, and it just makes the entire deck a lot lighter. And they're shiny, as you can see, which I like too. I like shiny because it brings out the colors much, much more than if they were matte. And with this kind of a deck, it's definitely worth it because it is a very colorful, active deck. And there's so many stories that are in here that are going to come to life. So let's go through the cards. I'm going to try to, because there are 78 cards. So we're going to move through at a choppy pace. Okay. What I also love about this deck is that the numbers up here are not Roman numerals, no more guessing. We're not living in Roman times. And although it's fantastic to know that when you're speed working, sometimes you just want to know what number it is. And the number it is part of the message. The number is part of the information that is coming through, right? So when you see the number and you know numerology, all of a sudden a whole other aspect of information opens up to you as well. These deck does number all the way through the pages. So, and the court cards. So the pages, for example, are 11. The knights are 12. The queen's 13 and the king's 14 in the deck, which I also find interesting. And I think it's great. I think it's a great addition. But on each, we'll get into that as we move through each card. So here we have the soul. And the soul, you can already see the colors. This is absolutely beautiful. This is the coming down of the soul into the human, the unification of earth and God, if you will, creation of a living being. Beautiful. The magician, which is Moses, of course, and we all know the story of Moses parting the Red Sea, and that's exactly what's happening here, parting the Red Sea, and it is number 1. Look at that detail. Now, I don't know how these cards are made. I don't want to assume anything. All I'm saying is the artwork is phenomenal. It is absolutely fantastic and very evocative. And even the colors that came out, like Moses with his red and white. So, and these are the colors of the magician, are red and white. So white is always the color of purity. Red is the color of desire, motivation. And that's exactly how Moses was described, as someone who's very pure, but also very motivated and got things done and had a lot of energy to invest in his beliefs. And just the stance and the power that is coming down, the rawness, the primalness, it's captivated beautifully. And even the corners of the cards, just beautiful. Yes, they have white edges. I don't mind. I like the frames on this card. I feel it's very balanced with the frame. Then we have Mary Magdalene with the High Priestess. Now, in the book, which you can, the PDF download, they explain why they're the skulls here. I genuinely forgot right now, but I know there's a reference or an explanation at least. So we've got here Mary Magdalene with her cross earrings. And the energy is so, it's like stained glass windows, literally. Literally. The Empress. And we know that in Catholicism, at least, Mother Mary is known to be the Queen of Heaven. That's another name for her, Mary, Mother of Jesus. The Emperor, King Solomon. And the associations to these cards are definitely amazing. And it just goes to show, because the tarot does have its roots in Christian symbology. A lot of people don't really want to hear that, but it's the truth. These cards were originally used to teach wealthy, the major arcana. The minor arcana come from playing cards associations, which may root in playing cards that were obtained out of the East, out of China. But because playing cards came to Europe during the times of Marco Polo, and they believe that it could be that the playing cards themselves originated Chinese money, because the imagery and how the playing cards were structured really resembled Chinese money at the time. So they believe that there were some games of chance that may have been played, and they were taken with Marco Polo back to Europe and were turned into the playing cards that we know today, which then eventually moved into becoming the tarot deck, part of the tarot deck that we know today. But the Major Arcana cards were cards that were developed to teach wealthy children, possibly, or contemplate on for wealthy people in the early Renaissance, early medieval times, how to, yeah, contemplate on Christian topics. So we have here the high priest, which is Aaron, brother of Moses, which is perfect. Perfect association. And of course, the lovers, Adam and Eve. Now we know that the original lovers shows one man deciding material and a spiritual path, but I find this association is also very beautiful and telling and definitely part of the story. The chariot, which would be Pharaoh. Mhm. And we have Daniel in the lion's den. Perfect association for strength. And the detail, like I said, is just mind-blowing. It is so beautiful. The hermit, and we have John the Baptist. Absolutely fitting. And instead of the lamp that the hermit is usually holding, we have him here holding the lamb. So interesting play on words, lamp and lamb, but also, of course, the associations, right? We have a wheel within a wheel, cycles of life. That kind of reminds us of Ecclesiastes and the lament within that, that everything has its own time. Everything comes and goes. There's nothing on this earth which has not been seen before. Let me just look that up for you. And the vanity of life, right in the first section. And I'm reading from the NKJV version. So it says here, the words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher, vanity of vanities, all is vanity. What profit has a man from all his labor in which he toils under the sun? One generation passes away and another generation comes, but the earth abides forever. Whoops. The sun also rises and goes down and hastens to the place where it arose. The wind goes towards the south and turns around to the north. The wind whirls about continually and comes again on its circuit. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full to the place from which the rivers come. There they return again. All things are full of labor. Man cannot express it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. That which has been is what will be. That which is done is what will be done, and there is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything of which it may be said, see, this is new? It has already been in ancient times before us. There is no remembrance of former things, nor will there be any remembrance of things that are to come by those who will come after. So it is, yeah, just read up on that. But it's beautiful because, again, this is a moment where the Bible expresses something timeless, something that all of us have expressed in some way, shape, or form. And this recognition that everything comes around and around and around again. So then we have justice, the 10 commandments. The hanged man, which is Peter's crucifixion. Death, stunning, which is the, I believe this is the fourth horseman. Temperance, Mary and Martha. The Devil is an amazing devil card. Oof. And they're so shiny, you can see the reflection here. Satan tempting humans to sin. The Tower. This is, of course, the Tower of Babel. The Star. And amazing the associations once again, because this is so fitting because the star does represent hope. And yeah, here we have the star. Then we have the moon, which is Jacob's dream at Bethel, which is one of my favorite stories. There's a deep mysticism in the story, which at some point I'll explore with you, but this is beautiful. The angels going up and down the ladder and the full moon, like just stunning, the artwork here. The sun, triumphant entry into Jerusalem. Judgment, last judgment. And it's amazing because, again, what a beautiful card. And here we have the lamb on one side and the devil on the other. And all are gathered in heaven. And this is one of the most beautiful world cards I've ever seen, because I've had visions of this place and I'm not going to get into it. A lot of us have had visions of this place. There is a place like this on the astral levels that we call home. It exists, absolutely. This here is called New Jerusalem. So beautiful. The tree of life in the center. And now we get into the Minor Arcana. And the Minor Arcana is fantastic because it has here these Bible verses and which illustrate the energy of the cards. So of course, Ace of Candles, Moses and the burning bush. When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses, and Moses said, "Here I am." And beautiful beeswax candles. And this was the beginning. It was literally a beginning of something. And I love the aces in this deck because they really show the potential energy, the infusion of energy into a situation to cause something. But because of the infusion and the energy brought in doesn't mean that something has been done yet. We have to take action on what has been given. And that's exactly the story here with Moses. Moses sees the burning bush and has that vision and takes action based on that, is inspired based on that. The Two of Candles, Two of Wands, which is... Now, as I unintentionally focused in on the center of the card, trying to get the camera to focus, we see here that this is a multicultural deck, which I also find very important. However, the main characters are similar to those Bible books of old, where they were all of a specific looking race. I'm not too upset about that. I really don't care because this deck is so beautiful and it lends itself to it makes everything consistent. And but yes, this is not the most multicultural deck. But I don't think that's its purpose. Its purpose is really to convey concepts and stories, and that it does very, very, very well. So here it says Two of Candles. Elijah went before the people and said, "How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him, but as Baal is God, follow him." And that really illustrates the energy of the Two of Wands. What's your vision, right? What kind of a vision are you holding? And if you're not holding a vision, you still are kind of holding a vision. So what are you following at any given point in time? We've got the Three of Wands. So I'll move a little bit faster now. You guys get the drill. There's always a little story, so you can see the pictures. The Four of Wands. The Five of Wands. The Six of Wands. Seven of Wands. Perfect. Perfect. David and Goliath in the Seven of Wands energy. Perfect. Eight of Wands. This is, one second, Philip and the Ethiopian. Now we're in Nine of Wands. Ten of Wands. Jeremiah's burden. Page of Wands. This is Miriam's praise for God. And just the movement and the energy in the card, it's so spectacular. Joshua, leader of faith. Deborah, prophetess and a leader. King David for the King of Wands. Ace of Cups, Samaritan woman at the well. The bond of David and Jonathan, Two of Cups. Beautiful that it's not just always romantic love, but genuine love. That's illustrated here. Real love. Three of Cups, the wedding at Cana, Arcana. This is one of my most favorite cards in this deck. I've never seen the Four of Cups illustrated so well as with this one. The Jonah is one of my favorite prophets. He was the most realist prophets in the Bible. When Jonah was called to serve God, the first thing that he did was say, no, I don't think so. And he ran. And so this illustrates that Jonah, when he's super angry about this mission and about the city that he's supposed to missionary to, and it says, now Lord, take away my life, for it is better for me to die than to live. Like, he was so angry at this mission, so angry at everything, and just a really human stance of just being fed up with it all and totally completely overwhelmed. Beautiful. Also the chalices at the bottom for the cups. This is the prodigal son for the Five of Cups. The Six of Cups, Jesus and the children. The Seven of Cups, the temptation of Christ. Stunning. And I feel like it really illustrates what temptation is. If you're not into chocolate, you can't be tempted by chocolate. So it's really what tempts you. And I feel like so many people miss the point when they read the story. Jesus was tempted with world domination. So there was an aspect in Jesus that was very aware that this was a possible timeline for him to explore. And he said no. He said no because he realized it's just further illusion. However, temptation was very what am I trying to say is that Jesus did have another side which he absolute balanced, and it comes out a little bit in these kind of stories. Eight of Cups, the Ascension of Jesus. Beautiful. Nine of Cups, the Feast of Purim. And just the joy that comes through these cards is just ridiculous. The Ten of Cups, Elizabeth and Zechariah's joy, speaking of joy. So lush, the colors, the vibrancy. You guys. Page of Cups, Samuel the prophet, the boy prophet. Knight of Cups, young David. Queen of Cups, Hannah, mother of faith. Beautiful. King of Cups, Nehemiah, rebuilding Jerusalem. You can really feel that this deck is a labor of love. Like the thought that went into this, the intention, the research, the looking up to ensure, the making sure, it's beautiful. The consistency of the images throughout, that it's not easy to be consistent on its 78 card deck. Trust me, I know. um, Ace of Feathers, Saul's conversion. This was when Saul turned into Paul. Two of Feathers. God test Abraham's faith. Means Abraham and Isaac. Three of Feathers, rebellion against David. Oh, and the emotion. Just wow. Four of Feathers, Elijah's retreat into silence. And the struggle that humanity has gone through with life and with what life is about, and the energies that create life, that we encounter life, the energies that are within us. And it's all within the Bible. It's all described within the Bible. I just find it absolutely, it's an amazing book, you guys. It is. King Saul's tragic downfall, the Five of Swords. Beautiful. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. The Lord has torn the kingdom out of your hands and given it to one of your neighbors, David. The betrayal that one must feel. Ruth the Moabite for the Six of Swords. Jacob the Deceiver for the Seven of Swords. And this was the card where I felt, oh, I'm so glad I have the second edition, because the first edition has a different version of this card and it is also absolutely pretty, but this is the one that spoke to me more. So I'm very happy. This is, of course, Jonah in the whale. Again, Jonah, one of my most favorite prophets, precisely because he was disobedient, rebellious, reluctant, sassy, back-talking, angry, waffling with himself and with the divine, but he ended up delivering. He ended up doing an amazing job. He ended up doing the work, and how powerfully, so that it did save the city. Well, for a couple, for a while, but I think a century or two after that, the city was sacked, but no longer due to fire and brimstone raining from heaven, but simply another, I think it was the Turks. that ran them over. I'm not quite sure. Look into it. But it's the story of Nineveh. And that's interesting as well because Nineveh was the had to do with the solar eclipse in the US and the 7 Ninevehs that it ran over. Ooh, so much to discard right now. But yes, let me see if it'll focus properly. There we go. And I love the underwater of it. Just love it. I love to snorkel. But Peter denies Jesus, the 9 of Swords. Yeah. Samson loses his strength, 10 of Swords. Perfect analogy. 10 of Swords is that energy is so it's when you literally it's done. You have no energy left, nothing left to give to something. It's done. Page of Swords, Esther saves the Jews. And what I like about this biblical tarot as well is it's usable for so many directions, denominations, because it's really taking out of the Bible itself and not out of the religious tradition, right? So I love that. I absolutely love that. So this is usable for anybody who works with the stories that are contained within those books. Here we have the Knight of Swords, Paul the Apostle. Oh, brother. Couldn't have been better. Whoever, like I said, the person who made this deck, they know their stuff because to ascribe Paul to the Knight of Swords is so accurate. It is so accurate. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable how it nails it, like just the entire energy around Paul and the Knight of Swords. That is absolutely a Paul energy. Yes. Abigail, the Peacemaker, Queen of Feathers. Accurate. Very, very good. The Judgment of Solomon, King of Feathers. Solomon in his judgment aspect. And we see the story of the baby here. And this is so divinely guided, this deck, because yes, this was a tough decision. And Solomon, that's why it ended up in the Bible. Solomon mastered it with ease. So for those of you that don't know the story, 2 women came squabbling to Solomon and were arguing over a baby. And what both women said that the baby belonged to her. And so Solomon said, okay, ask a guard to take out his sword and cut the baby, and each woman can have half of the baby. And so the guard starts taking out his sword, and one of the women was like, no, let her keep him. And that's how Solomon knew that was the real mother of the baby. And so it's tough decisions, really hard, but clear and clean decision making, and tough discernment. Absolutely. So much goes into this card and this story, but we see that here. Ace of Grains. This says for the Pentacles, and that's amazing. I like that they went away from the Pentacles. And I said in a couple of videos before that the tarot needs an update, for our current times and the times that we are moving into. And so what I really, really, really appreciate is that they moved away from this materialistic mindset that is connected to money, that is connected to the Pentacles, that is connected to and it's more of a resource nurturance. There's a warmth in looking at grain, which comes out of the earth, rather than looking at the earth for something to be mined. There's a deeper connection to that. I'll dive into that briefly, but it's how the indigenous see land versus how Western cultures see land. And the indigenous, they sleep on the earth because they see the earth as their mother. That's their home. That's our home. And so there shouldn't be a disconnect between us and our home. And they would never dream of mining the body of their mother. They wouldn't dig up emeralds and things of that nature because they believe that whatever humans need is given to them by the earth and given freely. And so they cultivated what was on the earth rather than hurting their mother and digging in and creating these huge mines and so on and so forth. It just wasn't in their vocabulary, in their mindset to even think that they could divide up the land or divide up the sky or divide up the water and call part of it theirs. It just wasn't part of it. So they didn't really fear the land the way that Westerners feared the land, not giving them what they wanted and fighting the land, battling the land, conquering the land, digging into the land, hurting the land. And so that's all for me represented this old mindset when we're looking at the pentacles, like the actual pentacle in the tarot, because it does have to do with coin, capitalism, money, resources. Of course, we ascribe it because we learn that it also belongs to the body and anything that is physically manifest. But this association to grain, I find so much more in tune. It is so much more softer and powerful in what it's actually trying to say. And we see here in this Ace of Grains, this is peace, right? This is peace. This is opportunity and land. This is the entering the promised land. And we see all of them walking in. We can imagine these are multiple tribes, different tribes coming together and looking at an opportunity, looking at a possibility here. Beautiful. Then we have Two of Grains, Lydia, faithful businesswoman. So there we have the coins and the grain. And the exchange aspect of the Two of Coins. Three of Coins, building Solomon's temple, the working together, the vision, the dedication. Four of Coins, parable of the rich fool. Five of Coins or grains, the bleeding woman. Six of grains, a widow's generosity. Again, beautiful multiculturalism. Love it. Seven of grains, parable of the sower. Absolutely correct. Amazing, amazing, amazing connection there. Eight of grains, the craftsman. And for some reason, this image brings me so much comfort because it's also a different take on work, seeing work as something divine, as something holy, as something sacred again, as something absolutely beautiful and comforting and something that should be done with care and honoring time. I like seeing the elder next to a slightly younger. The insinuation of learning and mastering something. It's so well done, the imagery here. Instead of seeing work as labor and something difficult to do. The Nine of Grains, this is Queen of Sheba visiting Solomon. Love the lusciousness. Ah, I wish I could just get into these pictures. 10 of Grains, God's promise to Abraham. And I love that this, whoever designed this deck included, because that promise is not only a promise to Abraham, it's a promise to us. And it says, all the land that you see, I will give to you and your offspring forever. But the land is, I take it as it's not physical land, like a location on this planet. It literally is life. That's what that promise is to me. Here, Priscilla teaching the teachers. This is the Page of Wands. And I love the perkiness and the brightness and the Again, I love that this deck there's joy in it. There's true joy in this deck. There's happiness, there's fun, there's joy, and there's humanity, and there's empathy and compassion and sadness and wisdom and all the gamut of emotions that we run through. Here we have Jacob works for Laban, the Knight of Coins. Perfect analogy. The Queen of Coins, or the Queen of Grains. And this is Proverbs 31, woman. And we have here the King of Coins, which is Joseph in charge of Egypt, or the King of Grains. And there's a story around Joseph and the grain. Look it up. So absolutely fitting and accurate. Oh my gosh, you guys. Loving this. All right, let's do a quick reading with it. Okay, so let's do a little quick reading with these, and let's do a first layout spread. First layout spread, please. First layout spread. Okay, so this is a 6-card spread where I'm going to ask, it's 3 at the top, 3 at the bottom. And the first card is, who do you see yourself as? Why did you come to me? Or Nate, what's your strength? What's your weakness? Okay, then why did you come to me? How do we work best together? How do we work best together? What will the outcome be of our working together? Whoa. Okay, so I'm just gonna, it's a very chatty deck. So right off the back, it's very, right off the bat, I feel the energy as being very talkative, communicative, willing to connect. There's a desire to connect with this deck, which I find intriguing. You can literally feel it wanting to talk to you. It's definitely very open, communicative, but maybe it's because I connect so much to the symbology here. So who is this deck? How does this specific deck see itself? And it's the 5 of Grains, or the 5 of Pentacles. And the parable here is, she said to herself, if I only touch his cloak, I will be healed. And it speaks of the power of faith. The power of faith. So even if you're in a dire situation, and this woman was in a dire situation, it's one of the stories of Jesus as he was passing through the crowd. There was a woman who was bleeding, and her bleeding wouldn't stop. And she believed so much that she thought, if I just touch his cloak, he doesn't even need to touch me, talk to me, nothing. If I just touch his cloak, I will be saved. And so what I find beautiful is it speaks of the Christ consciousness as well. If I'm able to just tap into this Christ consciousness, if I'm able to just say that Christ consciousness can work through me or be with me, or I can connect to it in some which way, shape, or form, then I can heal my misperception of my circumstances or my life. So there's a definite energy around the power of faith that this deck is bringing, especially to dire situations with the 5 of Coins coming up here. I've got some kind of a spy So let me just look this up. Matthew 9:21. Yes, and suddenly a woman who had a flow of blood for 12 years came from behind and touched the hem of his garment. For she said to herself, if only I may touch his garment, I shall be made well. But Jesus turned around, and when he saw her, he said, be of good cheer, daughter, your faith has made you well. And the woman was made well from that hour. Isn't that beautiful? So that's who this deck sees itself as a way to communicate, to connect, to pass on the healing energies, if you will. Now, what is this deck's strength? And we have here justice and the 10 commandments. So it knows its stuff. It knows its stuff. And also, this is definitely based on information that came from or comes from higher, comes from above, and a divinely guided information, divinely guided work. What is this deck's weakness? And it's when they came up out of the water, the Spirit of the Lord suddenly took Philip away, and the eunuch did not see him again, but went on his way rejoicing. Philip and the Ethiopian, this is the 8 of Candles. So let me just look that up really quickly for you. And that is the Acts, I believe, 8:39. Then Philip said, so Philip was, where was he? I forget where he was, but he's speaking to a eunuch. And the eunuch answered Philip and said, I ask of you, of whom does the prophet say this, of himself or of some other man? Then Philip opened his mouth and beginning at this scripture, preached Jesus to him. Now, as they went down the road, they came to some water, and the eunuch said, see, here is water. What hinders me from being baptized? Then Philip said, if you believe with all your heart, you may. And he answered and said, I believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. So he commanded the chariot to stand still. And both Philip and the eunuch went down into the water, and he baptized him. Now, when they came up out of the water, the Spirit of the Lord caught Philip away, so that the eunuch saw him no more, and he went on his way rejoicing. But Philip was found at Azotus, and passing through, he preached in all the cities till he came to Caesarea. So I'm not quite sure what this means, that this could be a weakness. So whatever you guys pick up on, post please in the description. I would love to know in the comment section. I would love to know how this could be taken as a weakness. 8 of Candles. This does mean swiftness, generally speaking, traditionally speaking, this card. It means messages, swift messages. Maybe that its weakness is it can't give a quick message. It's just not going to happen with this deck. It's going to get to the point, but there's going to be a whole story behind it. Maybe I'm not quite sure. What to take of this? I have to meditate on this for a little bit, and I already am enjoying that. And we're already seeing it's not a quick fix. It's not a quick thing here. Yes, that is its weakness, is it's not going to give a quick message. I actually have to meditate on what this means, which is probably exactly what it means, that its information is something that people are going to have to sit with for a moment. So why did it come to me? Why do I feel this connection? Clearly we're connected. We are connected. Why did you come to me, my love? And we've got, oh my, shut the front door. You guys, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, the only card in this deck. I gotta pause this for you guys just watch me shuffle and pull the cards. This is the only card with a black female in this deck. You guys, why did it come to me? And it's like, the love I'm feeling in this moment, I'm ready to tear up and cry. Like I am ready to tear up and cry. This is literally a deck through which spirit can absolutely communicate with you and tell you how much you are loved, how much you are recognized, how much you are seen, how valuable you are, that the work that you're doing is seen. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm ready to, oh. As she sees that her trading is profitable and her lamp does not go out at night. Proverbs 31:18. Oh my gosh, I have to look this up for you. I think it's the proverb which states how the ideal woman should be. Oh my gosh, I am ready to, oh, the virtuous wife. Who can find a virtuous wife? We're starting off at Proverbs 31:10. For her worth is far above rubies. The heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax and willingly works with her hands. She's like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. She also rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household and a portion for her maidservants. She considers a field and buys it. From her profits she plants a vineyard. She girds herself with strength and strengthens her arms. She perceives that her merchandise is good and her lamp does not go out by night. She stretches out her hands to the distaff, and her hands hold a spindle. She extends her hands to the poor and the needy. She's not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household is clothed with scarlet. And it goes on and on and on how, an amazing woman is supposed to be. And I am just mind blown right now. You guys, I am crying. I'm literally, you can't see my face, but I am crying. I am so touched. I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this. Mind blown with this deck already. I knew this deck was, oh my gosh. So, how do we best work together? How do we best work together? And it's the Three of Candles. The Lord said to Abraham, go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. This is the Three of Wands, the call of Abraham. Follow the call. Just follow the call. Follow your intuition. Follow your messaging. Follow the visions that I give you. That's literally what I'm getting out of this. And what will the outcome be? And this is where all these cards fell out. So for some reason I was guided and I'm following that guidance to just keep these four cards. And four is a number, of course, that is very solid. It's very grounded. It is the foundation number of something. And so the first card is from the bottom, the Six of Cups. Jesus and the children. When Jesus saw this, he was indignant. He said to them, let the little children come to me and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of God belongs to such as these. So bringing people back to a connection, a divine connection. We have the Knight of Candles or the Knight of Wands. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord of God will be with you wherever you go. A leader of faith. Then we have the Seven of Cups. All this I will give you, he said, if you will bow down and worship me, and the temptation. So the promise to get through temptations. Leadership through temptations via faith. Probably temptations of, doing things over again, repeating past actions, repeating the same thing over and over and over again and moving on from that. And the Five of Wands, Joseph and his jealous brothers, come, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay our hands on him. After all, he is our brother, our own flesh and blood. His brothers agreed. So Joseph and his rainbow colored coat. And coming out of all this toxicity was this beautiful being of a person, and bringing peace and insight and wisdom from that. I'm just flabbergasted with this card. Why did you come to me? And it giving me this as the answer. I'm just wow. Okay, you guys, I have to go recoup. I am completely mind blown. Um, this is one of the most powerful, profound decks I have had for a while. There's so much light in it. There's so much peace in it. There's so much love. There's so much hope. There's so much wisdom, guidance, nurturance. It's based on age-old archetypes. I believe anybody can connect with this deck, absolutely. And it's a great tool as well for yourself to remind yourself, because this deck, just by way of teaching you the Bible stories, and the entire Bible, the entire direction of that story is geared towards guiding you to regaining a connection to God, to the deepest, most magical, most divine place, being, you name it, that we can absolutely get to. And I feel like this deck absolutely fulfills its purpose. It's a, you can tell it's a work of love. It is a definitely a work that was done with a lot of heart, thought, willpower, everything God gave us to work with in this life. I feel it in this deck. Okay. So don't hesitate. I absolutely, oh my gosh, I have to stop. Otherwise this video won't end. I had to stop you guys, otherwise this video will not end. And I am super, super, super happy to introduce this deck to you. And please check it out. The link to it is in the description box below this video. And I'm absolutely ecstatic to be able to work with it and connect with it and now share it with you. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.